Good morning, students. Let us start with Chapter 2, Fundamental Concepts and Terminologies. This chapter consists of goods, service and factors. We will learn difference between price and value, wealth and welfare, and the trade cycle. Now, let us begin with price and value. To understand the concept of value, let us see the viewpoints. From viewpoint of use, called use value. From the viewpoint of exchange, called exchange. Exchange value means when I exchange one commodity with other commodity, then that commodity is considered as an exchange value. Use value is when a consumer has a need, for example, food, water, sunlight. He uses it and that use value is considered. Let's see the relationship between use value and exchange value. If a commodity has high use value, it doesn't mean it has high exchange value. But if a commodity has high exchange value, the same use value is there. Exchange value is determined by the scarcity. What is price? Price means the exchange value of a commodity measured in terms of units of currency. Now let us learn about goods and services. Commodities which have physical existence are called goods. They are there to satisfy the needs of consumption. Services, commodities which are intangible or do not have any physical existence are called services. They are meant to satisfy the needs of human. Economic study activities pertaining to production, consumption and distribution of goods or service. The nature of goods and service is different, though both are important in economics. Food is a goods commodity, but cooking is a service. Now, let us see the various goods and service in economics, which can be classified as first, physical or tangible goods and intangible goods. Some goods have physical existence like ball, bat, television and so on. These can be measured also, whereas some goods do not have any physical existence which cannot be measured, and those are called your services. For example, education, medical consultancy, so on. Second, non-economic goods and economic goods. Goods which do not command exchange value are called non-economic goods. These goods are infinite in nature and do not go through the process of production, distribution and so on. Example, sunlight, air. Goods which command an exchange value in the market are called economic goods. Example, all goods and services. Third, durable goods and perishable goods. Durable goods can be used for a long period of time and repeatedly. Example, shoes, clothes, televisions and so on. Perishable goods cannot last for a long time and are consumable only once. Example, milk, fruits, vegetable and so on. Fourth, private goods and public goods. Goods are classified as private goods or public goods on the basis of their ownership and nature. Private goods are goods which can be possessed and owned by a private individual. Example, a packet of biscuit is purchased by a child from the market. Public goods can be used by many individuals at the same time. They possess the characteristics of joint demand and collective consumption. They are either provided by the government or by the group of the people. Our next topic is wealth and welfare. Wealth is something which is useful, scarce, capable of getting exchanged and can be owned by somebody. Welfare means enhancement of life situations, standard of living and overall state of improvement. Now let us learn the characteristics of wealth. Now the first point is it should possess the characteristics of usefulness. It means it must be very useful. Example, house, vehicles, precious jewelry. Second, it should be scarce. These commodities which are scarce in supply in relation to the demand and possesses exchange value besides being useful are called wealth. Now the third topic is it should have physical or intellectual existence. Wealth should have an existence which can be exchanged. In today's world, the intellectual ability of human being, like the ability to create new ideas, are exchanged for money in the market. Fourth point is wealth constitutes goods which are capable of exchange. Wealth is meant to satisfy present as well as future consumption and other needs and therefore must be capable of exchange. For example, house. Fifth, durability. Goods which can be used again and again, they are considered as wealth. Goods which perish after one use cannot be considered as wealth. Durability goods are like land, precious metal, etc. Welfare. Welfare means enhancement of life situation, standard of living, and overall state of improvement. In economics, subject of welfare can be studied as individual welfare, collective welfare. An individual seeks to make efforts to improve his/her standard of living and well-being. It becomes a subject of individual welfare. When nation and government seek to improve growth, development, it becomes a subject matter of collective welfare. Relationship between wealth and welfare. When wealth increases, welfare increases as more wealth means higher capacity to generate monetary value, greater power to exchange goods or purchasing power for the owners, and hence greater well-being. This will apply as an individual approach. But when the wealth of a nation increases in the form of national income, the welfare of people will increase only if national income is equitably distributed among all of them. Now let us learn factors of production. The factors of production are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Land. In economics, the concept of land is more inclusive. All natural assets which help in production or economic activity constitute land, according to Marshall. The characteristics are: land is a gift of nature and it is not man-made. The total supply of land is fixed. Land is geographically immobile. All types of land are different in fertility, climatic condition, and so on. The remuneration of land as a factor of production is called rent. The second is labor. Physically or intellectual work by humans in order to earn returns, which is done under the supervision by some authority, is called labor. The characteristics of labor are: labor cannot be separated from the laborer, labor cannot be stored. In a way, labor is perishable. The mobility of labor is influenced by social and economic reasons. The efficiency of every laborer is different. The remuneration of labor is called wages. Capital. In modern times, capital is considered to be a highly important factor of production. All man-made goods which help in production constitute capital. It is a man-made factor of production. The characteristics are: capital is a man-made factor of production. It is the most mobile of all factors of production. The remuneration of capital is called interest. Entrepreneur is the factor which brings together all other factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, for the production process. Entrepreneur is a risk taker who takes the risk of setting up an activity. The factor does not get fixed returns but tries to generate income by running the economic activity successfully. Characteristics of enterprise can be stated as: this factor is the decision maker of the activity. This factor is known as a risk-taking factor. It possesses the quality of coordination. In other words, entrepreneurship is a quality. The remuneration of this factor is called profit. This will help you to learn easy the difference between capital and labor, and you can also write down the points. Difference between land and capital. Trade cycle. First, irregular changes. There are accidental changes which occurs in an economic activity. These changes generally occur and have their impact in some regions of an economy only. Example: flood, famine, storm, fire, etc. Seasonal changes. These changes regularly occur in economic activities with changing seasons. Long run regular changes. Some changes occur in a given direction in the form of a trend. These are directional changes which occur in an activity. For example, some regular sales trend. Cyclical changes. Dynamic fluctuations arising in economy over its long run growth, leading in rise in growth of economic activities and fall, are called trade cycle. Now let's see the definitions of a trade cycle. According to Heberler, trade cycle is an interval that embraces alternating periods of prosperity and depression. According to Hartley, trade cycles are continuous phases of good and bad changes occurring in the economy. Characteristics of trade cycle. They depict dynamic changes in the economy. They depict the positive and negative changes in the economy. These arise because of several factors. Trade cycle have various phases and each phase does not last for a uniform period. Phases of trade cycle: boom, recession, depression, recovery. Boom. This is a period when economic activity reaches the maximum growth level in a given time period. Demands have peaked and so have incomes and profits. Recession. This period follows the period of boom when economic activity peaks in a given period and investments and employment have reached the highest possible level. A slowdown occurs. Demand slows down, investment and employment follows. Depression or slump. The slowdown in the recession phase continue to cause a depression when all activities reach a minimum level under those circumstances. With fall in demand, production falls and employment falls, causing further reduction in demand. So it's depression. Recovery. When depression lasts for some time, the suppressed demand starts emerging. Government may try to boost investments and employment, and certain technological changes happen in the long run. This leads to recovery in demand. These types of cycles occur in all economic activities in the long run. However, in the market-oriented economics, these occur more openly while they may be suppressed by the state in the state-controlled economies.